So it generally feels like Christianity is making a comeback, or at least it's cool again, or trendy again. I think maybe trendy is the word I'm looking for. It feels like now we're going back to a point where we don't attack Christians as much, or we don't shun Christians as much, or we're able to post Christian content and most of the comments are positive. You know, it's not such a negative thing to be like, oh, I love God, right? And people using God in a more positive way in just everyday speech, everyday conversation, right? And I think I say trendy because you guys remember like baggy pants and skinny jeans. Sorry, we used to all wear skinny jeans like in high school days. Now it's like baggy. Everybody wears baggy pants, right? Those flare big pants that everyone's wearing. Who knows? 10 years from now we'll go back to skinny jeans. I don't know, but it feels like that's what's happening. And with society, there's always times where it will shift one way and then we'll shift back the other way. And I feel like we're shifting back towards Christianity being cool again, or being more acceptable. And for whatever the reasons that is happening, I really don't care. I'm a fan of it because there's one thing I'll always say. The Christianity is not meant to hurt anybody, right? It's not meant to be negative or put down anybody. What Christ himself stood for was love, positivity, community, being kind to everybody, right? So we're trying to embody that. So if someone says to me, oh, I want to preach Christianity, I want to preach this, or I want to do this, I'll never look at it as a bad thing, because the principles about it, the principles it stands for, are positive things. So I can never look down on anybody that wants to promote Christianity, right? Some people have turned it and, you know, used it for their own agenda or whatever, but the core reason that it exists is for positivity. Now, how are we? I feel like the new generation is who's really pushing this new wave of, I don't know, trendy Christianity, I guess, right? One thing I've been noticing in the last couple weeks are these TikTok edits or AI edits.
What's up, y'all? We on the Sea of Galilee. We getting cooked right now, chat. God help us.
Where they tell Bible stories like Moses parting the Red Sea, Daniel in the lion's den. I've just seen a bunch of them, right? And I like it. Some people are saying, "Oh, it's blasphemous. It's this." I don't think you can go as far as to say it's blasphemous, because we're not mocking the story. Like in those TikToks, if you guys want to see what they're saying, people are saying things like, oh, the devil thought he could get me, but Jesus has my back. And they're using like new lingo to make it a little bit more relatable to the new generation. But I don't see it as blasphemous as like, oh, they're trying to mock faith or anything like that. So I think it's overall a positive thing. They're using it for good reasons, right? I also think the way the world was, or the way, at least the US, let's speak on the US, the way the US was in the last 10, 15 years, how there was so much degeneracy promoted in terms of the music, in terms of the TV, in terms of movies, everything, culture, dressing, all these, like, it was promoted so heavily and pushed down our throats to be just do whatever you want. Don't have any morals. Nobody's gonna judge you. No one's gonna say anything. And then people are now looking back at like, let's have a little bit more decency. Let's have a little bit more respect for ourselves. Let's be a little bit more, like, I don't know what to use for it, but let's relax a little bit. That's the best way I can put it. Let's relax a little bit. Let's not do too much. It's okay to just be a calm individual, not chasing all these worldly things. Let's just be relaxed, right? And the reason I said in the beginning that Christianity is not meant to promote anything bad, even if you look at the Ten Commandments, right? When it says things like, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, don't covet somebody's wife, right? These are not bad things. These are things that we all should strive to not do. We should strive to live these lifestyles. I think because people put the tag of Christianity on it, maybe sometimes it throws people off or it turns them off. But even if we look at all the laws that we follow in this country, at least the US, they all derive from basically Christian principles. right? So that's why I say it's not wrong, it's not bad to promote Christianity or think it's cool or think it's not meant to hurt people, right? So I'm excited about the trend that we're in, at least, and I think this is time to maximize it. This is a time to really push love, push kindness. I think when people talk about faith and talk about Christianity and they say things like love God or you go to hell, I don't think that's the way you want to push a religion on people or push a faith on people. You want to push it as God loves you, love each other, be kind to each other, etc., etc. Push the community aspect of it, because that's what Jesus Christ was. He was a community individual. It was all about kindness. It was all about loving. It was all about these things, right? Intangible things, but things that are really important. Push those things, because, like I said, there's no negative effect about pushing community, about pushing love, about pushing kindness, and especially in the world that we live in today, and us younger individuals, when we see what's happening in the world, when we see what's happening with different countries and the state that different countries are in. I won't get into the political aspect of it, but we know what's going on outside in the world. We have access to everything. We can see everything that's going on. I think that's also helping, I guess, this movement or this trendy movement where people are just like, man, if this is what's going on in the world, let me cling on to something warm. Like, it feels like the world is a cold place right now. Let me find some shelter, somebody or something that's gonna welcome me and make me feel safe, or at least tell me that I'm safe, right? And we see that a lot also with a lot of youth flocking towards churches or flocking towards Bible studies, flocking towards movements or just faith-based movements. People want to feel that community. People want to feel faith and not be ashamed of it. You want to be around like-minded people that promote the same principles that you're promoting, so you don't feel like you're alone. Especially in an era where a lot of people feel alone. A lot of people feel like they don't have somebody that they can talk to or someone that they can relate with, or you get that comfort or that experience, at least, in Bible studies and youth groups and all these things. So there's a lot going on in terms of why, or at least why I see Christianity being more trendy. Or I'm someone that's been online for the last 10, 15 years, right? I haven't seen as much faith-based content as I've seen in the last year. Is that my algorithm changing? I don't really think so. I've kind of been steady in my things. I like sports, I like music, I like dancing, I like comedy. It's the same things I've liked for the last 10, 15 years. But I'm just getting a more steady diet of Christian content without even looking for it. It just pops up on my screen, right? And obviously that's my algorithm, but still, there's more of it, and there's more people accepting it, gravitating towards it, and I want to see it continue. Because, like I said, it's not negative. I think when people get to where they twist the word and where they use the word to their advantage or things like that, or when, I see a lot of people like idolize pastors or idolize ministers, or, it's like they can't pray by themselves. They need to hear somebody pray for them, or they need to hear somebody preach or do this or do that. When you get to that point, I think it's dangerous, obviously, because you want to have your own relationship with God. The most important thing is your own relationship with God, right? Not relying on other people or somebody else, or propping somebody else as a figure for you to feel that connection, right? So there's ways it can get dangerous, but overall, generally speaking, where we're at now, I like it, and I want more Christians, especially, to carry the baton and preach more. Tell people about love and community more than anything. If I'm going to evangelize to somebody, the first thing I'm saying is I'm not mentioning hell in the first conversation. I'm not going to mention God's wrath. I'm not going to mention these things. They are important and they will come later down the line. But the number one thing you need to hear is God loves you. God did A, B, C, D, E for you. This is why community is important. This is why kindness is important. This is why love is important. This is why all these things are important. Not come at people with the Bible is a let them, let's build them into it, right? You didn't start your faith at that point, so why would you bring others, to that point in the beginning? So there's so much to do, especially with content. There's so much we can do to promote faith, right? At the end of the day, if somebody doesn't want it, then they will ignore it. They won't gravitate towards it. But it doesn't harm anybody for you to speak about it, right? And the people that have had kind of negative experiences in church or with God, in terms of something happens in their lives and they blame God for it, or they don't, or something happened in church, or they didn't feel like they were loved in church or accepted or anything like that. All of those things are things that we need to address as well, right? If we're going to evangelize, we're going to preach, we're going to minister, we need to actually not just look at people that don't believe. We need to look at people that had belief and no longer have it, right? Or they felt that they were pushed away from it. Figure out ways to get them back, engage them back in, remind them of God's love, remind them of what the importance of the community is. Not just, oh, well, you were here at some point and you left. Good luck to you. Still try to bring people back. Right? And don't do it in I think this is one of the biggest things as well. I think people do it in such a salesperson type vibe. We've all had people try to sell us like life insurance, or sell us insurance, or sell us a car, or sell us things, or sell us AT&T in the store, and it bothers us, right? Don't do that same thing with Christianity or in faith. Don't attack people with it and try to be like, oh, you have to come, you have to get it, otherwise, just be natural, be yourself. And one of the most important things about the Bible, about faith, about just Christianity in general, is that it will shine through you. If you really believe it and you really act that way and you really live that lifestyle, it will shine through you. You don't have to try too hard to convince people. You don't have to do too much. Just be your authentic self. Nobody's asking for perfection. Nobody's asking for you to make no mistakes. God has already accepted that we're all sinners. We all make mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. The most important thing is loving God more than you love, your sin, or you love your imperfections or whatever. The more you focus on, I think I read this maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week, but the person said one of the issues people have with addictions, whether it's sexual addiction, drug addiction, all these things, when they try to get away from it, is that they focus so much on not doing it rather than focusing on God. The more they focus their attention on God, the more they focus on the principles and the things that God wants from them, the harder it is for them to go back to those ways, rather than just trying to avoid doing those things in general. So I think there's a lot going on, at least in the world right now, in the US right now. There's a lot going on, but I think we're in a good place in terms of we have people's attention. People are listening, they're watching the content, they're watching the sermons, they're listening to the music. There's so much good Christian faith music. Even people that don't identify as Christian artists, there's still good, positive music out there, right? That they're preaching, or they're ministering in their music. Maybe they don't put the tag of faith on it, but when I hear certain songs, I'm like, okay, this person is somebody that maybe they don't identify as a Christian, but maybe they did in the past, or they have something that, and people are listening to these songs. They're watching the movies, they're watching the Chosen, they're reading the Bible app, they're watching the TikToks, the AI Bible stories, the Christian creators on there that are preaching messages. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people digesting it. So I think we're in a good place to where we need to take advantage and promote love more than anything. Promote the love of Christ more than anything. And yeah, I mean, I'll do my part. Whatever way I can push it, I can push God's love, because I've experienced it. People around me have experienced it. What's one thing about experiences, when you experience something good, you want to share it with other people. You don't want to just keep it to yourself or keep quiet about it. You want to share with other people. So I've experienced it, and I want others to experience it, and I'm going to do my part to push God's love, the love of Christ more than anything. And yeah, I hope this video, this message can achieve that as well. And I hope it continues to be trendy. It continues to be cool. So thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the subscribes, the subscriptions. Thank you for being here. That's the bottom line. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your shares, everything. And please like this video. Please share this video. Please leave a comment on this video on what you think of Christianity just in the last 5-10 years, or what you kind of experienced. And also subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys very, very soon. God bless you. Love you. Bye.